Hey everyone. So one of the biggest problems that companies currently are facing is the concept of data decay. And what that basically means is that when you're setting up a new deal or some kind of lead, or you're just setting up any kind of GTM campaign, you do have a good initial setup of your CRM, your data, but there is a high chance that as time goes on, people will move from companies to companies and that quality of data will reduce. To prevent this, it is required that you consistently re-enrich your CRM. And there are a few systems out there, but there's nothing extremely exhaustive or concrete that handles this end to end. So in this video, I just wanted to show you a playbook that we have set up. You can reach out to us if you want a copy of this. We'll be happy to share. And it basically pulls in data from your HubSpot. Whatever data is available. Doesn't matter if the company is empty, whatever. We take the assumption that if a contact is available in your HubSpot, it does have its email available. In case that is not available, then this playbook might not work for you. But as long as the email is available, everything else is handled by the playbook itself. So just to give you a walkthrough of how everything works, you start with a new grid, go to import records from HubSpot lists, select your HubSpot account, then select the list and import it to a new grid or the current grid. If you're using the playbook itself, import it into the current grid. And once the data is set up, all you really need to do is just select all and run. That is all you need to be concerned about. How this actually works is we get the HubSpot IDs from your HubSpot. We do a lookup. And this lookup, we pull most of the general data points that people maintain at a contact level, which would be the name, obviously, the website of the company name, the LinkedIn URL, the email, etc., which is prima facie the most important data points surrounding the contact, right? And once we have that available, we first verify whether the email that we are currently maintaining on the HubSpot's end is that of a good quality or not. Because if it's already of a good quality, why would we want to waste credits on getting that email back, right? We can still re-enrich the empty data points like the name, company name, and LinkedIn URL if that is unavailable, but we would not want to spend more credits finding a new email when the current email is validated, basically. So we check for that. And okay, in this list, we had only 3 bad or invalid emails. Once we have this available, the first thing we do, we find the LinkedIn profile URL. So on platforms such as ours, LinkedIn profile URL is one of the most lucrative key values that we can utilize to find more information surrounding a prospect or a contact. So we find that, and we use 2 different enrichments in conjunction. One is our reverse lookup, where we have tons of different data providers that maintain this information, where you can just pass the email ID and they get the LinkedIn URL in return. And even if this exhaustive waterfall is not able to find your LinkedIn URL, we put our super powerful AI agents, bit agent in this case, to find the LinkedIn profile URL to have the maximum possible coverage. Like in this scenario, you can see that we had the max coverage possible. Then we enrich the person, get their data points, the full name, etc. And this is dependent on whether website and company both are empty. So I'm assuming that in most cases the name would not be empty, but there's a high chance that you're missing these data points. So if any of these data points are empty, only then will we enrich the person themselves. And once we have enriched these people, we have the data point from LinkedIn. So this is live as latest as possible. And once we have all of this available, we can then find the emails for the ones where the email was of a bad quality or invalid. And we can collect them all together and then push them to HubSpot, where we can update the record, the unique identifier set as HubSpot ID, and then we can map all of the fields as we like. Now, this is how the setup is. In the real world use case, how this will work is you'll have a copy of this playbook available. You can connect it to your HubSpot list, and then you can set up an schedule fetch using auto fetch records. And then maybe you can set it up, I don't know, something like bi-weekly or whatever you feel is the correct cadence for your specific CRM. In case you do bulk enrichments like every 6 months or something, in that case, you don't even have to use the HubSpot list. You can just go ahead and utilize our HubSpot native contact querying capacity. So you can pull in all of the leads in one go, and it will just pull that in, and rest of the workflow will remain as it is. You don't need to change anything, because the only input data point that we're considering here is the HubSpot ID corresponding to the record. So any kind of querying will give you the HubSpot ID at least. So other than that, everything else is handled by the lookup itself. But in both of these cases, once you have set up an auto fetch, you can go to run settings and set up a auto run grid here, and also set up an auto dedupe, so that if you want to avoid re-enriching the contacts again and again. But this would also be depending on what cadence you're running this on. If you're running this like 6 months or a year, you might want to re-enrich the contacts that are being pulled in once again. So would depend on a case-to-case basis, but you need to have the auto run available here, so that whenever a new record comes in, it flows through the entire pipeline automatically. And yeah, that's it. You don't really need to make a lot of changes here. And if you have any questions surrounding the workflow, you can reach out to us. We'll be very happy to help. Cheers. Bye.